You know, some people start their lives near the finish line. Others seem to have to run miles before they even get to the starting line. But where you begin doesn't always determine where you finish.
And tonight, the Buckley report on one young lady here in the Piedmont Triad who could easily have given up on life because of where she started, but is instead, in the words of one of her mentors, soaring.
My name is Mpumi Nobiva. My organization is the Family Service of the Piedmonts.
Her accent is the first clue that she's not from here.
But what happened is that...
But does nothing to reveal her story, which is often horrific.
My mother was a teenager when she had me, and my father didn't stick around much longer after I was born. And it was just tough, you know.
Her mother was her soft landing in that tough world of Johannesburg, South Africa.
She was never really around, but when she was pure light.
Light turned to darkness when Mpumi was 9 and her mother revealed she had HIV.
And she sat me down and she told me that she's HIV positive and she knows she's going to die. And I didn't know what AIDS was. I didn't know what HIV was. I just knew it was bad. It's as though she could feel literally my fear just crumbling through my body, because at some point she held me by the face and told me that I would be different.
And made her promise to keep her faith in God and mind her grandmother who raised her along with 9 other children.
And in my 9-year-old mind, my 10-year-old mind, my 11-year-old mind, it made sense that if I don't hold true to those promises, I'm going to end up exactly like my mother.
The angel who helped save Mpumi came from the glow of a cathode ray tube.
I remember thinking, Oprah, like the woman on TV is coming here, you know, it made no sense.
It made a lot of sense when she learned that Oprah was opening a school for girls near where Mpumi lived in South Africa. But fancy schools like this were not part of the world in which Mpumi lived.
When you come from a world that has constantly shut you out systematically, or you come from a world that has been filled with no's, when the opportunity comes for you to take a leap, you don't always recognize it.
But because she never hid from her story, Mpumi never had to recognize the door that had just opened, because others did.
And I look back and I think, wow, had I been ashamed of my circumstances, would my teachers have known? Would they have known to call on me when the opportunity that would change my life came, you know?
And just like that, she was swept up into Oprah's world in her prestigious school near Johannesburg and trips to see The Lion King on Broadway. And being part of Oprah's world means that Bob Brown's gaze may sometimes fall upon you.
That's Winnie Mandela there.
Oh, yeah. Brown grew up in High Point and became part of Richard Nixon's administration, as well as an advisor to Gerald Ford and friend to Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela. But it was Mpumi,
Well, she is a very unusual young lady,
who inspires Mr. Brown.
Most people will quit midstream or before midstream. Others will quit when they get close to the line of success. But she's one of them that will not quit no matter what.
Mpumi came to America to continue her education, first at Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, and Oprah was there when she graduated.
It's really so cool.
Now,
I'll be up here.
She's getting her master's degree from High Point University.
Hopefully.
They are grooming her to do big things.
You're building your case to see, is this going to be the right fit for you?
Right.
She is speaking at White House summits and traveling the world with her Share Your Story campaign. She is becoming a brand. But her greatest work is likely to be back home in South Africa.
My mother was 25 when she told me she was positive. She was 27, 4 years older than I am now when she died. And so I am needed in my country, because very little of us orphans understand that we're not defined by our circumstances.
And her mentor, Bob Brown, sees her on the biggest of stages.
I see her as the kind of a person who could be a Nobel Peace Prize winner. She has that kind of smarts.
A story whose end wasn't dictated by its beginning. Bob Buckley, Fox 8 News.
Mpumi speaks several languages, including Bantu, the language of the Zulu tribe into which she was born. She began speaking English when her grandmother took her to church and she heard it there. She graduates from High Point University in May, and we will keep you posted on her progress. What an incredible story she has to share.
Impressive. She wants to go back to her home country and make a difference.
Exactly. And she's 23 years old. Hard to believe. She is wise beyond her years, wouldn't you say?
Well, 20 years from now, we'll be hearing from her.